And so I'm Stephanie Lester. I have just invited Elisa to join me, so hopefully she will very soon. But just before she joins me, I shall introduce the whole reason for us coming on live here today. Hopefully you've been seeing myself and the rest of the Bloomz coming on, and I'm just getting to tap Elisa's name here. Excuse me as I put myself here. I know you are. There you are. Got you.
I'm here.
Okay, well, I'll do a brief introduction just to say about the show, just so that we can bring that into line before we go on to our little interview with each other. So just to say, hopefully everybody has seen our, well, I'm going to call it our bombardment, because I hope people feel like that we've been bombarding them with all our information about our show on the 26th, which is this Saturday. So it's like 4 days away and we're so excited. We are bringing it at 10 o'clock in the morning UK time and 7 o'clock in the evening UK time, which is GMT +1. So you need to work that out where you are in the world. And we are delivering it on the platform of Zoom. But I was thinking this morning how lots of different ways to try and explain to people that the way we're actually delivering it is different, because lots of people are used to going to work on Zoom and maybe thinking, seriously, do I want to go on Zoom at the weekend? So you need to think about it. There'll be a girl in the office that when she's in the office, she's like really normal and does all the normal stuff. And when she goes out in the evening, she's party girl. Well, that's what you need to think about. This isn't the Zoom that you go to work with. This is party Zoom. We're going to party on Zoom at the weekend. That's what we're doing. Don't you agree, Elisa? It's party time.
Yes, absolutely. Because we found that Zoom had the features we needed to build up such an event. But of course, it's not an academic appointment, so there won't be a teacher explaining to you, the guests, what art is, what would you understand, or what are you supposed to understand. So it's really a friendly environment where you are able to meet the 11 of us showing up, and we can chat about everything. You can ask us questions and really discover a little bit of our artsy world, because some of us are full-time artists, some of us are not. So really there's a rainbow of possibilities and inspirations that you can receive from us. That's why we decided to give you the opportunity to have a chat with us and get to know us better, and to simply open the doors of our homes.
Yeah, and to see our work in 3D, so that's the brilliant thing. Like here at the moment, I've got my work behind me, and I could show and do, as well as because of the features within Zoom, we can have a presentation which shows all the commissions and things we've done today and things. So there's like this huge variety that we can show. But the best thing is this interaction that we get, which is cool.
I think really that nowadays, especially in this pandemic context, reality, we really should get to the point, avoid intermediation of art galleries is a central point today. And if you want to buy art, the best thing is that you buy it from the artist, because he really can explain the meaning of the piece that you have fallen in love with, and you will really be able to realize how important is the piece that he has created for him and not for you, of course, because he gives you a piece of his art. And
the passion, you feel the passion.
Yeah. Objects have a soul in this case. In other cases they don't, but in this case
Excellent. Okay, so we'll get on. We're going to interview each other today. So I'm going to start off by interviewing you, Elisa, because we want people to get to know us a bit better before they come to the show, and hopefully this will entice them in to actually come and get to know us more. That's the hope. So we talked well, you said earlier about we're all different, we come from different environments. Now, you're married, you have 2 children, you have a career as an environmental engineer. What brought you back to art?
All true, Stephanie, because for all my life I have been, a successful student, the one who reads the books and does all the homework. I want to get good marks, as I'm a perfectionist. And yes, I really try to do my best in every aspect of my life. That means that I tend to forget myself in order to please others, but it's not a bad thing for me, or at least it didn't seem so until I realized that I didn't have time to do anything for me.
Yeah.
Because I spend all my days at work for 7-8 hours a day. Then I came back home and follow the kids with homework and prepare dinner, and of course the daily life gets in the middle. And in my case, I really had forgotten what it means when you can, dedicate just an hour for yourself. And art was a juvenile passion, I think, because I've always studied history of art on books, so I've always loved going to museums and galleries to discover the life of painters and appreciate their paintings, but practically I didn't have anything to make art. But it was a dream, if I get retired someday, I'm doubtful about. Maybe I will buy some paints and brushes, and I will start to paint. So it was a very, very far away dream.
Right.
I just decided to anticipate the time.
Yeah.
Because one day a friend of mine visited me, and she took with her canvas and oil paints. It was on at the weekend, so she said, "Okay, try. Let's have a try. I will give you a canvas as well, and put some paint on the canvas. Okay, let's do a landscape by Van Gogh. Let's copy this. Okay, let's start with this stuff." And I didn't know, of course, what to do. But I was really, really fascinated by what she was doing. And so I decided that why not have a try? So she bought me some oil paints as well, and turpentine, which unfortunately was toxic. So basically, I couldn't stand the odor of turpentine, and kids were such younger than now. And really, I decided to put that dream again on one side, until I realized today that there are solutions to avoid toxicity, hazard, and it all happened because of internet. Because if I didn't find art classes online, I would have never begun to study and really discover my passion. Yes, and find my voice, which is basically the biggest challenge that an artist must face.
Fantastic. So it was your friend. So it's your friend who brought you back quickly to the art, rather than having you wait till you retired.
Yeah. Today we are still in touch, and she says that, "Oh, you are so good. How many progresses you did?" Yes, of course. If you paint on a daily basis, of course your progresses are much faster. But in my deepest So I think I will always feel like a beginner because you never stop learning.
Well, I think
And
we always learn.
not that bad,
Yes.
no?
No,
Huh?
not always a beginner, but I think we always learn, and we should always be learning. I mean,
Yeah.
that's everybody. But your paintings and where you've got to now, your voice, they're very passionate. They're soulful. They're women. So who is your muse? What is your muse or your message? Tell me.
Frida Kahlo used to say that she didn't pay herself because she loved herself, but because she was the person she knew better. It's not my case, so I really avoid self-portraits by now. Who knows if someday I will dedicate to that. But yes, my muse is a woman like me, a woman that every day tries to match all the challenges, family, self-improvement and self-growth and feelings, because really feminine feelings are really set apart, and it's not a matter of violence or abuse. I don't want to talk about these topics, which are really too hard. The thing is that we are something more than mothers, wives, and professionals. We are human beings that need attention and respect. Really, our experience makes us be what we are. So my message is somehow related to the things that even if we suffer, even if we make mistakes, there is always a chance for tomorrow to change and improve and forgive. It's a positive message, it's a message of hope. You will never hear me say we have no hope, because really I am the most optimistic and hopeful person on earth. And
So it's like almost like the beauty of imperfection, isn't it?
Yes. My muse of fallibility, that you perfectly know, is really a representation of my basic idea. Other paintings really are open to suggest many messages, really about the avoiding regrets toward the past, for example, because we always think, oh, if I had done differently. Okay, the past is gone. So it's a mix of these feelings that come to my mind, and an idea, a poem, of a line of a song, really, of something I'm reading in a book. I can connect with an image and then I mix it up, and something comes to my mind. It's an interior process more than an exterior one. I am quite an introspective person.
So you started off with the turpentine and the oils and didn't like that, and you were saying you use acrylics and charcoal. So when you're starting, what makes you decide where you're going with regards to the medium, what you're going to use to,
Yes, it's a good question, because, and maybe I don't have just one answer, because there are many reasons who lead me the choice. I tend to monochrome, and it's clear at this moment. I'm really slowly translating to more colored palettes. I started monochrome, and I start nowadays monochrome because my first medium of election is charcoal for sketching and drawing, because it's the first medium I really learned on a constant basis. But you know, on the basis of my time, I choose one medium or the other on the basis of the effect I want to obtain, because some say that oils are less synthetic, you know, less artificial than acrylics, and it can be true, but oils require more time, more space. At least for in my case, I am still arranging my studio, so it's quite complicated to work with solvents and such things, even because my children still go around and to touch everything. Acrylics at the beginning were very, very challenging for me, because they dry extremely fastly. So it's really hard to correct mistakes if you want to work wet on wet, as we say, no? If you want to put some fresh color on fresh color. But today I discovered some tips that really allow to keep the paint fresh for hours. And so my last pieces are in acrylics. But I want to, in the perspective of future works, I think I will privilege oils, because they are my you know, the dream was about oils, so I must make it true. I want to disappoint myself.
For the dream. So then, talking about the dream, so what is your, apart from going to oils, what is your dream for your art?
Oh, at the moment, I focus on the present, but I think that I'm thinking about collecting the stories that I usually write for my pieces, because it's my second, you know, my second passion is writing. Since I was a child, and maybe I have this kind of ability to sum up in a few words or images a concept or a suggestion. I don't know. I see people really appreciate often more words than the painting. I don't know. I can say. But
Sammy says here. Sammy's actually written here beautiful words in your messages, which it is, but your paintings and your words are equally beautiful, because you don't just, if you say what's this about, you don't just say, oh yeah, lady with petals. There's this whole beautiful story about who this person is. Beautiful.
Yes, it's something that really is not predictable, because I just sit on my couch and I start thinking about that image, and suggestions come and flow from my mind to my pen. It's a process that it's a creative process that I'm not able to describe because it's unconscious in this case. More unconscious than painting, where you have to make choices for colors and techniques and whatever. It's less romantic than expected. I would like to collect the stories, maybe not the past ones, but to plan about a dozen of stories and paintings to be collected in a book. This is my plan for 2021, because a friend of mine suggested that they could deserve Stephanie.
Yes.
You are really a master. For me, I always listen what you say. So
definitely.
And continue with what I'm doing now, basically. So joining the Bloomz has been really a unique opportunity for me, because one of my dreams really in the past was to be a part of something. And you know, there is so much competition in the art world that you could not imagine at the beginning, because you know, the romantic idea about art is that everybody can live alone, looking at the easel and never minding about whatever turn comes around. It's not that way, because world is connected, world is just one, and we need collaboration, we need cooperation, we need to learn from the others.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so much. I mean, that's what I love about our group is that we are all so different. And like, I am genuinely asking you these questions because I don't work in paints or anything. And we are all learning from each other about how we do things, or even not necessarily just the art, but, you know, how
Yeah.
we set up in our studios, how, you know, we're running our businesses. And we aren't in competition, you know, we should all support each other. And it was you who said to me when we were on the towards the end of the Liam Paula course that we were saying about you'd love to be in a collective, and I was saying it reminds me so much of the Bloomsbury group, which Ian Forster and Virginia Woolf were a part of, and hence why we called our group the Bloomz, because of that. So yeah,
Yes,
you went
this is
straight out and set up that
authentic.
group.
This is authentic. This is real, and it's not something true. So even a good morning and a good night is an occasion to keep in touch with all of you, and for me, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I will always
fabulous.
be grateful. I will always be grateful. And
Brilliant.
so when I saw you for the first time, I thought, what's needle felting? I had no idea. I really started also to find a translation in Italian. So um, I had to Google it, and
Right.
we were taught about Googling, so I Googled it and saw your demonstration and really understood what it is. But I would like you to explain to our viewers, to the people who are connected with us now, what is about your art, because you really are a master in the feltings, and I would like the others to really understand what you do.
What do I do? Right. Well, firstly, what I love about needle felting is it's one of these. I suppose it's the same with painting, really, isn't it? That a two, you know, anybody with a brush can paint, as in, yeah, anybody with a needle and some wool, well, a felting needle could actually felt together. It's something that over time and perseverance and learning, which enables you to actually create the pieces that you want to. But I always say we've all done felting because we've all put our jumper in the washing machine on to hotter wash,
Mm-hmm.
and the wool has shrunk and won't come back out again. And that is the process which you do in needle felting, but you just slowing down that process, because if you put wool under a microscope, they've got scales on them. And so that's the process when they go in the wet felting washing machine. They've shocked those fibers in
Mm-hmm.
smaller, and then they can't come back out again because those scales have locked. And because, let me grab my, you won't be able to
Yeah.
see this because the thing, but because my needle, there's actually little, I can just about flick it, there are little barbs on them. So stabbing that into wool actually just slowly felts the pieces together. But I've got a piece that I'm working on at the moment, which is my meerkat, who
Wow.
he's still, bless him, I always say my pieces look worse before they get better. So he did look close to finishing, but I'm actually attaching his fur. So he's got a bit dull until I actually come back and re-accentuate the eyes. But basically there's a wire armature, and in fact you can probably just see the
Mm-hmm.
bottom, because I always have a stand to put them in. I always need a wire sticking out, so a nice piece of wood which simulates a piece of sand. But so there's a wire armature, and you know the process is wrapping the wall around and then basically needle felting the wall within. But it's sculpting. I mean, it is sculpting, but it's sculpting with wool. And in the same way that a sculptor with clay creates shapes and adds them in, I do that too. So like if I'm creating, you know, like a cheek, you can see there's a triangle and triangle
Yes,
for the
of
nose and
course.
things. You're always adding shapes and then molding them. I always say that the great thing for me is that, unlike clay, I don't have to put my pieces in an oven where they can explode. You know, I mean, how horrific can that be if you've spent hours doing something and then you cook it and it goes bang? But so I don't have that problem. And it's very forgiving, because you can felt something so hard that you can actually carve it. So if I've actually got a mistake, I can actually chop pieces off and then add pieces in, and so it's quite forgivable in that sense. But like anything, it's an interpretation. I go now from the more realistic. Now you can probably just about see, if I'm pointing there, there's a little goggle-eyed giraffe there where my finger is.
Yeah, the
And
little bird.
Yeah, so he's just it's just like some people go for that kind of cartooniness, whereas I go for the realistic. I am actually trying to replicate the animal so that people think it's real, you know. So
no, it's impressive. The feathers are really amazing, you know, the big ones. They're really amazing.
300 feathers that was. I had to stab them all individually, but yeah, but that's why.
Yes, the following question was, where do you take the things that you need? Because apart from the wool, there are other materials that you use for, you know, the legs or clothes or eyes. Really, it's impressive. It's all wool.
Yes, and the only time I use different things is when I'm doing a commission of somebody's pet. I will often use glass eyes, but I've hand painted them myself. So I will get a glass cabochon and often I will get nail polish, and on the back I will paint the different colours of the eyes until I get the replica of the animal's eyes. And so only because when I'm doing these pieces, they're my interpretation of an animal. When I'm doing somebody's commission of their pet, it's their pet and their vision of their pet. So you can get that realism that they got from the eyes with glass eyes for them. So that's why I do that in commissions. The only other, I mean, even on the claws with that's just wool wrapped around wire. But I do some things. My meerkat will eventually have very long claws, and I haven't got them on yet because I wait to the very last before putting them on. But they're actually I've molded some really little it's like a silicone clay. It's from Japan. It's brilliant, and once it's dry, it's still a little bit flexible, just like you know, nails would be or claws would be. So I sometimes use different pieces like that if I really want to get that detail. And on things like the noses, I use beeswax to get that kind of shiny effect and things. So there are lots of different things and different artists use different things. I've just been reading another book, and a lady uses a particular glue to get that effect on the nose. So we're all different as to what we use to get the different effects.
And the wool is from England.
Oh. Well, yeah. So the wool, I mean, basically, the core wool is processed the least. So it's basically been taken off a sheep, it's been washed, and it's been put through what's like a carding machine. And we actually have shops in this country which sell that basic wool as well as lots of colour, because there are lots of people who do on the wheel, the spinning wheel. And actually make their own thread and everything. Yeah. So they have to use really basic, and so we use that. We almost use less processed wool than they do. So there's actually a place called World of Wool. Brilliant, that'll do. Covers everything. And but I do actually also wash fleeces. We've got several fleeces, and Steve, my partner, is very into the garden. He's a gardener. And one of the times I was washing some fleeces, and of course there's lots of very smelly sheep poo, and lanolin comes out, and I had to find somewhere to throw the water, and he wasn't around, so I thought I'm just going to throw it over the roses, and didn't say anything to him because I thought, you know, he might get a bit upset. And when it came to the summer, these particular roses flourished. And he was saying, what on earth has happened to those roses? And I thought, yeah, I need to confess now. I threw all the sheeps over it. And of course now he insists that I actually wash the sheep's wool so they can put it over the whole of the garden.
Yes, it smells bad. The sheep wool smells very, very bad because I once went for work in a place where this sheep wool was brought before going to be processed elsewhere, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
See,
So
I quite like the smell.
another case where art is not romantic, at
No.
least at the beginning.
Well, I have one advantage over you, which is I have a very bad sense of smell. So actually, it doesn't smell as bad to me as it does to everybody else. So that's cool. Right, I'm just having a
Tell
look to see.
me now about your recent experience on TV, because
Oh,
you were
yes.
able to demonstrate your kids because you really um, have you know a union with a commercial partner. I don't know how to call it, to
Yeah. Well, no, it's
sell some
when
kids.
back in the day when we used to go out doing shows, and of course, as you've explained, lots of people have never heard of needle felting, and Sammy and that were just saying they hadn't really heard of it until they met me. And it's the same thing when you go to a show. It's all very well saying to people, "Da-da, look what I've made," and it's out of wool. And they look at you and go, like, really? You know, they think you've cut up wool or something. And so you start demonstrating. Well, of course, the moment you demonstrate, want to have a go at that, and you think fair enough. But so I needed to find somebody. Sammy just said she thought I was going to say that I threw the water over Steve. Bless her. I'm not quite that bad yet, Sammy. So I found a lovely lady up in Scotland who made her own kits, and she, here's a kit, you can make this picture, here's the instructions, and go. And so I've had this nice relationship with her. And then when lockdown hit, I decided to take some time to do videos to go through with those kits. And it then just transpired that she was asked to go on to, it's called Sewing Street TV channel, which is based down here near me. And she lives in East Lothian. It's like up Glasgow way, it's miles away. You won't know, Elisa, it's miles away. But so it would have taken her hours to get down here. So she asked me if I would go and do it. And I thought, well, I've been doing the videos, why not? Let's go and have a go. But it was brilliant fun. Brilliant. I tell you what, though, I mean, those presenters who do they're on for 4 hours chatting to everybody, doing everything, they are amazing, absolutely amazing. How they just carry on, whatever happens, chat, they're listening to it all. I thought, fair dues, they definitely earn their money. But it was great fun, actually, because of course now with TV, it's not like this big television set. There's probably 3 people, there's a camera and a person, and off you go in a very small room. So what appears to be this huge studio isn't that big. But it was just brilliant fun. I really, really loved it. So hopefully, well, they've said they want us to come on again. So hopefully in the future we'll be doing that again.
Of course, it's a great stage for this particular branch of art, And
Gets it out there.
It really can be satisfying also for people who are not skilled, because with these kits, really, you can create something which is pleasant and you can really use as a decoration for your house. Yeah, I really love the choice of subjects also, which are really lovable. And but did they what about the makeup? It's like we see the movies, so they make you sit on this chair with many lights. And how did it work?
No, you just do your own. You just turn up and do your own. There's nothing romantic
about the third less romantic thing of the day is on TV. They don't help you to wear makeup.
No, afraid not. No.
What are your plans for the future besides the TV show again?
Well, I mean, number one, to carry on getting needle felting known as an art. because it really is only just coming into that realm of actually having, and it's nice now that as I'm taking pieces like Orchestral around, people are calling it art, which is brilliant. But no, I mean, I suppose for me, I would like to be known for my style and my art, and it would be really nice to actually get to show it internationally, really.
And
Get invited internationally.
This event is the first of many others. I hope really we'll be able to last, yeah, which is not take for granted.
No, absolutely. There we go. So I suppose we need to say to everybody that we will be putting links for tickets for our show on the 26th. Yeah. And say once again, there are 2 shows, 10 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. It is going to be a different experience. You get to meet us again. And also the other 9 who are going to be there, who are just as mad as we are. So that's good.
I mean, if people don't want Alaska, I can do some Italian lessons. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can do whatever they want. I can teach how to make tomato sauce. I can teach everything.
Excellent. Okay, so do you want to say anything else, Elisa, before we say goodbye?
It was really a pleasure to share this moment with you, because you know how we are similar for many things, and I feel this instinct, empathy for you, and I love you.
I love you too. Mwah. Ciao, bella.
Ciao, grazie, ciao. Bye bye.